It's about me.
What happened?
I said I look good in every frame in this.
And I made a face.
But it was like,
But it's true.
the disdain. What?
Even
These are
the
so fragrant. Are these corn
iPhone
nuts?
FaceTime.
What's up?
No. Wait, what kind are they?
Barbecue.
No.
Hi. Hello there. Welcome to episode 84.
Here we are.
Yeah,
Wow.
where we always
This
are.
is a
They're
hot sauce
so
review
fragrant,
podcast.
right?
How do you smell those corn nuts?
Corn
It is
nuts
not
are
a,
like-
It is not a hot sauce review podcast, but we've
They-
been eating hot sauce.
We
on
have
break.
been.
In between the episodes.
I
I
have
haven't
not
tried
eaten
one.
much because I want to talk normally tonight, but
It
We
just,
will
it's,
talk
it's
normally.
past since it's all subsided.
yeah,
No, it's not really the talking that gets in the way.
It's true.
that's true. I don't want to take any unwarranted breaks as well. But yeah, thanks for joining. Thanks, episode 84. We're here. We're gonna play some D&D, but before we do it, let's have our announcements. Thank you to Sirenscape. thank you to all our music partners at Eldritch Foundry. You can get 15% off on minis if you use code RoleSlayers. Check out World Anvil. They're awesome. We partner with them. Follow us on social. Check out our Discord, which you can find on our website, roleslayers.com. Join our Patreon. Follow us on social.
The Patreon, patreon.com/rollslayers. As you know, we have increased in views lately and in website traffic, and we need more bandwidth. Just kidding. But we can maybe get some new mics and stuff, or I don't know, whatever you guys like. Comment
Yeah.
on the Patreon. Tell us what you want to
Yeah,
do.
tell us what you want me to buy with money.
Yeah, we're running out of minutes on our cell phone plans, respectively. So
Fund the
The
Role
Patreon
Slayers
is
cell
keeping us
phone
going.
plans. Well, before we jump in, any other announcements? Anything?
That's a lie. What he said was a joke, and it's not true.
There we go.
good announcement.
Let's play D&D.
D. Indeed.
Last we left off, the party continued their way north, passing a caravan from Callan Ferris headed towards Valenmere, as well as encountering an ever-growing on the horizon Ember Spike. After some chatting about whether or not that story of the Ember Spike was true and the repercussions of myth or history, it was also brought to the attention of the party that Galdrin Snowhammer is a hero and has lots of really cool cards about. And that while they may not have the renown yet, they could make their own.
Did we really spend an episode just
We did.
basically? Okay.
Walking.
Wow,
Merchandising.
you spent it in character, talking. That's great.
I guess
I'm
it
not
is.
being sarcastic.
I know you're not.
That's great.
You're right.
But we left off with you guys getting ready for watch for the evening. Is there anybody who wants to take a watch?
I feel like, given my sad perception, someone else should do it instead.
That's probably
Or I
fair.
can double up.
Yeah, I think you and Belle should double up since you don't have the sight.
Well, neither.
Well,
of them
doesn't
have
that make
sight.
less sense for us to double up since neither of us have the sight?
No,
Yeah.
I mean, you get two chances, two people.
I'm not
If you miss it,
character.
then she'll get it, or vice versa. If you're having trouble staying awake or just seeing in the dark in general, you should double up. Unless you don't want to, you can hang out with me. Come on, Bells, you want to hang out with me?
I'm happy either way.
All right, well, you have to make that decision. I won't make it for you.
I'll take my usual third watch with whoever wants to watch with me.
Okay, who's on first watch?
Coward. I take first watch.
Okay. Remy, go ahead and make a perception check for me.
Remy, I'll stay up with you and take first watch.
Okay. So perception with disadvantage for Ruby. As you guys
Sad.
sit and watch the sunset below the cliff sides to the east, a very distinct horizon sets in. And then, what were your perceptions?
7.
7.
19.
19. It gets dark, gloomy, the clouds overhead kind of roiling, the stars forgotten except far to the south. But there's enough light for you to see a little bit as you are kind of bathed in this very, very soft orange glow from the towering spike of earth to the northwest or northeast. But no disturbance comes except for the patter of a light rain.
Boy, not to get gossipy or anything, but I never thought that I would be one of the more well-adjusted people in a given traveling band.
I traveled with a lot of different types when I was on that ice-breaking ship, and you just see all kinds of people with their inner workings.
I bet you've got some fascinating stories from that.
That I do.
Were you a pirate?
No. Just on like those ice-breaking ships. Just they were mostly merchant ships. As much as
Okay.
I love the adventure and I love hearing other people's stories and collecting stories and all of that, I'm not really here for anything strongly nefarious.
That's a sensible place to be. Yeah, I've done a little bit of sailing myself, but nothing quite like that. No big long voyages.
I tell you, the weirdest place was in what's the place where all the, hold on, gotta get my notes back out for my, yeah, made just a quick stop in Keldrad. That place is a mess.
What was going on there?
Well, that's where all the orcs and the goblins and the ogres and the bugbears, they all live there, and it's all, real sectioned off, real stratified, hierarchy like, but for
Ew.
the purposes of evil. And they've been warring with the tabaxi, and it's just, that place is a mess.
You heard a little bit about this growing up in Uldar.
Yeah, I've mentions and such, but never anybody. Well, I heard a couple that had gotten close, but you know how sailors are with their tall tales. You never know what to believe.
I mean, there's literally a tower made of bones, so
No.
for real.
Ugh.
So we were coming around the continent, and we just had to make a quick way stop, and then we was on out of there real quick, like.
So did
As
you
much
just,
as
like,
I love a
hop
good
off and
story,
hop back
I was not ready to collect a whole lot from there. Give me the giblies.
on? I bet. Did you see the bone tower?
Oh yeah. It's
Gosh,
like
how
in the
tall
big.
is it?
I mean, not as tall as that thing there, but
Well,
It's probably about 400 feet.
yeah, it's like normal tower size, but it's pretty imposing on the city.
it sounds like it. Do you think those two are going to be all right?
I surely hope so. I mean, I heard some just, snippets, not the whole thing, when we were at
Oh, you
my
heard that too,
when
huh?
we were at my parents' house. And
Yeah.
I know we had all had a little too much to drink, and I thought we were all having a nice time, but that just evolved. I don't even know what. And I just feel like if they could just bring it down a notch and just, listen, they could get through whatever this barrier is that's, keeping them from trusting, and then it'd be at least a little less tense.
Yeah, it wouldn't. That's the frustrating part, because I didn't have very much to drink. I heard a fair amount of it, not all. That's probably for the best, but I don't know. I feel like the solution is just kind of right there in front of them, and it's like neither of them want to see it.
Sometimes you just can't. Maybe I ought to come up with a story about two friends. And she just like zones out.
Remy does not interrupt.
The hours pass, and eventually it's time for you to take a rest. Unless you want to become exhausted, you can go and wake up Vinny, I guess, for second watch. If you want to make a perception.
Yeah, I have dark vision, so I get a double one. Advantage?
No, you get it at normal.
I guide myself as I think about Titania.
You feel good.
It's gonna be a good one.
Get it.
Okay, that is, I believe, 17 or 18.
Okay.
18.
Nothing of note happens, but you take note that the fact that the forestry around you has started to descend from the mountain foothills and is now starting to cover and blanket places in the road further down, and there are large bits of undergrowth and plant life here, starkly contrasting kind of the more barren areas around the grasping mire, almost just like this sense of fullness of life in this area, most likely from the rain that's gently drizzling, and you do spot a couple of reflective eyes off the campfire every now and then of what seems to be wildlife of some sort.
As he's doing this, he's carving out a card.
Sure.
Similar to the one he saw Vinny or Remy have. And did he, was the card carved itself? Was the image carved into it, or was it just an image on the card?
So it was...
It's like a printed card.
It's laminated wood pieced together piece by piece, and then it is basically what it is it's a stamp, right? It's a way of printing in mass these pieces by painting the stamp and then putting it on the card. Does that make sense?
So, Vinny, if he carves a card, it's just a card. It's just like a flat piece of wood.
Correct.
It has no artistry within itself.
Correct. But you could also make
But I could
changes.
carve the stamp, right?
Sure, if you would like.
I figured we have pianos. We can have a printing press too.
As far as I know, the Guild of Goodwill doesn't have a stamp, a signet.
Well, anyway, he was just trying to make a card, but
Sure.
I'm not sure how he would do that. Maybe what he would do is he would, using his own skills, he would actually carve an image into it so that it's almost like a,
An embossing.
Yeah,
Or no.
basically.
Engraving.
An engraving. He would engrave into it.
Sure.
And it would be you'd start with bells, and he would make bells, but so he would carve her into it, and it would probably take him a couple nights to do this,
Sure.
but it would be her like armed to the teeth or whatever,
Sure.
and then it would say something to the effect of the mighty bells.
Yeah. You can start work on that. The first night is just going to be you kind of cutting up the strips of wood to laminate together eventually once you find like a binding solution. But then you can start to fiddle away on the actual portrait and the name kind of display.
Cool.
And then wake up Bells for her watch.
Okay. Bells, you're up.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, have a good watch. Nothing of note. So.
Great.
Go ahead and give me perception. Disadvantage.
10.
10. You notice pretty much what Vinny noticed of like this undergrowth kind of encroaching down from the mountains. And just the soft glow of this light from the ember spike, kind of undulating. It's not solid light. It does shift, but yeah. Your watch comes and goes. The sun starts to rise a little bit later than you would expect as the mountains block the sunrise. But
I would take out.
Wait, aren't they to the west?
Yes.
oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Apologies.
Yeah.
Haha.
Yes. I would take out some of my paper and my pen. I haven't drawn in a long time because I haven't wanted to. But I would take that out and start like drawing like a card, like Remy showed.
Sure.
And I would draw one like of Vinny with like his eyes glowing and like some of his like energy coming out of like his hands.
Sure. You start to sketch out the frame first, this kind of square card with maybe rounded edges, and even procrastinating a bit by, embellishing on the frame a little bit of like, oh, here's some fancy framing of the image and here's where the name will go before really starting in. But you start with the face and have in your mind this kind of smirk, this Vinny smirk, and use that kind of as the bones of your illustration, capturing it fairly well. You would figure. You're a bit rusty, but eventually you do get a fairly decent illustration of Vinny looking to be ready for battle in his own warlocky way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, baby.
And as you do so, the sun
His hair would be
rises.
glorious.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like trailing, yes.
Do you embellish or just make it? Okay,
Definitely.
there we go.
I draw Vinny the way that he thinks he looks. In
The
battle.
idealized Vinny.
Mm-hmm.
And the sun rises as you do so. You gain more and more light. You can do more and more detail and shading as you get light.
I would stop well before anyone's going to wake up.
Okay. And then you just quietly shut your journal.
Mm-hmm.
And one by one, your compatriots start to awake.
I love this.
To a cloudy, drizzly morning as the rain has not stopped. It's not grown heavy, but it's just persistent, ever present. You make your way further north for another 2-3 days. The underbrush growing to bushes and hedges and small trees, alders and pines, eventually oaks, as you enter what's known as the Severn Wood. The forest kind of clogs the path, almost growing over it, the hard-packed dirt, resisting, but not well. Almost a game trail at places. The only mark of it being a road would be deep wagon ruts, as this does seem to be a well-traveled road.
Dude, can we see like maybe how recent some of these wagon ruts are?
Yeah, go ahead and make an investigation check for me.
Okay. Okay. Go. guided myself, and I got a 1 there and a 1 on my
What?
roll.
So
Wow.
2
So
plus
5.
5. Okay, so 5 total.
This is
Some of
dirty.
these could be old. Some of these could be new. You're not a wagon track aficionado.
These are
unfortunately.
on the ground.
As you
There
kneel
they are.
down and kind of look at these, you, for the first time, maybe realize that there's kind of this persistent fog and mist that rises from the ground, and you kind of are surrounded by it as you're down there and pop back up above the kind of the fog line. But there's this kind of persistent mist haze,
Ooh.
and the rain pattering down. It kind of sets a tone. This is a very lively green space that you found yourself in.
What's the temperature?
Well, it is close to winter here in Kazun, and it's probably about 55 to 60.
So cooler
Chilly.
than we were by the
Coast,
coast by the
Correct.
sea, and as we're
Yeah.
going up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
We're wet and cold.
it's wet and cold.
And
You feel
it's-
like it's not necessarily a. This is a more temperate latitude than Stoheller, but the way the weather interacts ecosystem-wise, it can be a bit chillier and soggy.
Okay.
There are a lot of what are basically cold fronts that hit those mountains, bounce back off, and rain.
Okay. Great.
So, but yeah, you continue down this path for the rest of the day, the duration of the day, before finally you trek through the misty roadway. The western side of the mountains start to slope ever towards your path, kind of hilly, almost brambly, like embankments on your left. And the town appears in the fog. Wooden buildings of modest size lining both sides of this expanded road. Deep grooves of wagon wheels crisscrossing it. The slopes to the west become barren as you come into town. Long trees cut long down. And in their place are these log yards. Many of them connected to wooden luge devices, carrying harvested trees via running water. It's not a busy town. It's quite sleepy, but you do see men working over at the log yards as you come into town. Among the loggers working on the hill, as you come further in, you spy one who stands out from the crowd. Many of these foresters are carrying logs by attaching hooks to them and sliding them along on these giant sleds in teams of 6 to 10. And among them is one man, a hulking Goliath, 8 feet tall easily, with gray skin and these kind of intricate tattoo patterns along his bald head and face, carrying a log by himself. Bells, you do recognize this to be a familiar face, though it has been some time. As you come into town, is there anything you guys would like to do?
So he's carrying a log?
He is dragging a log with one of those hooks that they put into it and just dragging it along on a sled.
Okay, wait. Is there any kind of like boss man watching what's going on?
Foreman of some sort? Yeah,
Sure,
there are several
whatever.
foremen who kind of have their own delegated log yards that they manage.
They look mean.
Do they look mean?
Yeah.
Make an insight check.
10.
I mean, some of them yell at the workers, but usually, from what you can, insinuate, at times of danger or in times of stress. But you don't see them overly as cruel.
Okay, I don't care about the rest of the party. I would just walk up to him until I can like make eye contact with him.
Sure. So you see Belle start to like jaunt off towards this hulking Goliath man, and he's pulling the sled, and you have to get right up in front of him before he just looks down. Since you're so short,
Sure.
he's just kind of not paying attention, dragging the log, and then kind of stops in front of you. There's just this kind of look of confusion that's just instantaneously gone as this big, gap-toothed grin comes over his face. Little Koberg.
So I would just like give him a big hug.
Oh, pats you on the head. Hello.
What are you doing here?
Oh, carrying logs. What are you doing here?
How did you get here?
Oh, my own 2 feet.
What
Yes.
what happened? I thought you would.
I was imprisoned by the powers of the ascendancy, and I was freed by the powers of your uncle.
Were you hurt?
No, not physically.
I'm so sorry. I had no idea that would happen to you.
Hey, he like kneels down as you're getting emotional and just kind of on the shoulder, hand on the shoulder. Not your fault.
I would take out my amulet and like show it to him.
Oh,
I've kept this.
yes. Symbol of Udat. Yes. You follow the way of the Uzundar, yeah?
I don't know, honestly.
Ah,
I
sorry. Common tongue. Wild mother.
I don't know if I follow her way or I pray to her and she speaks to me.
We must sit and drink. I will carry this log, and I will meet you at Timberman's Hole.
Okay, yes. When should we meet?
It will not take long. 5 minutes.
Okay, yes, sure. I will meet you there.
Good. It's good to see you, little one.
You too.
My heart is glad. He just like stands back up, kind of groans, as he's known to have back problems. Just grabs the hook and starts lugging it off towards one of the lumber yards.
I would just run off to where and find that place.
Sure. What is happening as she runs up to chat with Warren?
I would just, kind of look at Ruby.
Apparently she knows this guy.
I guess so.
They do make
who
an
is
odd
that?
pair.
Well, I don't question Belle's. I don't really question what she does.
This is the
she
first
always-
person that she's ever seemed to know.
Or even want to like initiate something, anything with.
I'm just kind of enjoying watching this happen. This is really strange.
Oh, he seems real sweet.
I think it's. She told me one time about a friend of hers. She's bringing out that amulet. She
Mhm.
said that she had gotten it from an old friend, but that friend had been put away by her own father, and it's a big reason why she's kind of left the. I shouldn't be telling her story, but I mean,
Wait, she's leaving. Where is she going?
was she left?
Oh.
She's I don't know. She's gallivanting all around.
No,
They-
she's
they
walking
parted
away.
ways.
She's
She's going-
going
she's
into
going.
the town.
Yeah,
Maybe we
hang
ought to
on, hang
follow.
on.
We ought to follow her, I
You
guess.
guys quickly jaunt up, catch up to Bells, who is walking both with purpose and not knowing where she's going.
Yeah.
As you kind of walk down the main thoroughfare of the town, there's not many roads in it, a couple branching off, but this is pretty much it. You do pass by, several shops, Farmer's Wholesaler, Huntsman's Guild, but then you pass an establishment that seems to be an inn that says Timberman's Hall.
I will go inside.
Bells, what are we caught up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Bells, what's going on? Who is that?
Oh, that's my friend. His name is Vorin, and I haven't seen him in quite some time since I left home.
Oh, wow. What are the odds of you running into him here?
I don't know.
Well, I guess they're pretty slim. That is so incredible.
It is. I didn't think I'd ever see him again.
And now he's just here hauling logs.
Apparently.
It's the same one. I saw you show him the amulet. His amulet that he gave you, correct?
Well, he didn't give it to me. It was left behind after he was taken and imprisoned by my father.
Mm.
Boy,
It is
Crazy.
his.
So what did you think happened to him? That maybe he was still in prison?
Or dead.
Did you ever visit him in prison?
No, I
that a
left
thing?
as soon as he was gone. I didn't know what happened to him, and I didn't want to stay at home any longer. That was just days before I met you.
Oh, right. Huh.
So did he say to meet you here at this inn?
Yes, he said he would be here shortly.
All right, well, we'll
Do you
give
need-
you all some space so you can catch up, but at some point I'd love to meet him.
Oh, yes, of course. That sounds wonderful.
Great.
You're not. I mean, it's okay if you are, but were you all romantically involved?
No.
Okay. Just curious.
Why?
Sorry, I didn't mean. I was curious.
No.
Everything's not about
we'll get
that,
our own
Vinny.
table. It's all right. We can make introductions whenever you feel comfortable with that.
Okay, wonderful.
Great.
You guys push your way into the Timberman's Hall to a small but stately room of furnished wood paneling and nice, like a very like solid oak carved bar. Heavy. That thing ain't moving. It was probably carved there.
Nice.
With what seems to be 2 or 3 stories with stairs leading up to a fairly empty lobby. You see 2 or 3 patrons kind of crowding the bar and a actual bartender, but the only thing that really sticks out is a table for what seem to be travelers. Among them, a hulking green dragonborn, heavily muscled, what seems to be an elf, but who has kind of like leaves sprouting from various parts of his hair and pale skin, and a blue tiefling with large curving horns, one of them broken off about halfway, and plate armor. And also a familiar sight to you two, but not to you two. So I'll go ahead and describe. Well, to you, Hayden, but not to Remy. A young man, kind of pale white skin, lanky, untamed, shoulder-length hair, dark green set of half plate and kind of tan canvas undershirt. Strapped to his hip is a rapier and a dagger. And he's got his feet up on the table. This is Oliver Barnes,
Oh.
who you met at the play, a friend of the Kitagoras.
Wow.
And Barnes was the name
Oh,
that you
yeah, he
got
was that-
from One Tooth Man,
Wow.
right?
He was that
He's that weird,
not
like, lazy
nice
guy.
person.
I remember.
Oh, he was the
He
jerk.
was that's a good word. That's a good word.
I thought he was kind of an oaf.
Nice.
Like
He was
just
kind of
like-
aloof.
person.
Yeah,
I
that's
remember.
right. Yeah.
He was rude.
No, he was like, I sell to the highest bidder only. And then we're like, do you ever try to do what's right? And he's like, no.
Thank you for that recap. I appreciate it.
That was it.
But
That
they
was
kind
the
of just
thing.
eye you as you walk in and then go back to their drinks.
He look familiar to you, Bells? I can't quite place his face.
He was that cackhole at the that play that we went to.
Oh,
Remember,
that
he
guy.
had his feet
When we
up
were with
and
the key. Right. He looked out of place. We were invited to that play with the Kitagora.
yes, him.
Weird. I wonder what
All
he's doing
kinds
here.
of.
He does give a double take eventually because you see a glimmer of recognition in his eyes. And
There is a lot
I
of
would-
coincidences happening.
I would give him one of those like knowing Vinny grins, like
just
I know.
Sup?
nods come over if you want, shrugs, goes back to his drink. As you guys are kind of getting your bearings in here, Vorin does thump into the doorway. You
I would get the biggest ale that I can get.
you just run over to the barmaid. The rest of you, as you are getting settled, you can feel his presence before he arrives as his weight kind of thumps the ground a little bit. As he kind of ducks a good 2
Is he
feet
a
to get in the
human?
doorway.
He's a Goliath.
It's like
he's
a.
got some giant blood in him.
Okay.
Hey, Bells, I feel your friend coming, but before you go, do you remember this guy's name? The guy that we recognize. Is that the Bonds that the Pullman? What do you call him?
Oh,
Is that the same person?
he does fit that description. I hadn't thought of that. Could he be, though? I don't know. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, if he was an unsavory character and he's also associated with Lucimo, it might make
Might be
sense.
I would just kind of flit off, like, I don't care.
Okay.
Okay. We'll handle Vorin in a second. What are you guys doing?
I'm gonna sit down
Do you
with my
think he'll
drink.
buy us lunch?
What are you talking about?
Well, he gestured over to you. Like, do you think he wants to buy us a lunch?
Oh my god, I don't even know what to say to that.
Well, he's dressed so nice. He looks like he can afford it.
I don't know, but it's possible that dear old daddy is floating around here somewhere. So
Oh
I think
right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to tread on that.
I think I'm just gonna grab a drink. You guys want to join me? Maybe somewhere in the corner where we can observe a little bit without getting too
Yes.
much embroiled in all of the whatever.
Sure. You guys get a corner booth.
What do you like to drink? Ruby?
I don't know. Ale? I don't know.
Ale.
2 ales.
It's a real simple establishment. They have ale, and they have beer, and they have some whiskey. That's it. No mixed drinks. But you guys can get large. They are large glasses.
So a two-hander for a halfling.
Not quite frosty mugs, but they're chilly.
Mm.
How'd they pull that off?
They just
weather.
leave it outside.
But you can sit and observe both Bell's engrossed in conversation and Oliver and his compatriots now playing dice. Seems like they're just passing the time.
I just like to imagine though that there is like some weird sorcerer gnome in the kitchen who is just like doing like chilling touch or whatever. Just like over and over.
Flitting around, like, on the countertop.
Like just
Yeah.
just like frosting the glasses.
Mhm.
But
Love
then
it.
by the time he's done, the
They're all- yeah,
they've
they're-
all like gotten warm again,
He's
so
like,
he's got to
"You
like
gotta
go
use 'em
back
fast."
Yeah.
Yes, it's canon.
Yeah.
It's not canon, but it is. So you hand him this massive beer. It seems like they did get larger glasses.
I will also say
At
Bell's
some
like
point.
body language is something that like you've never seen before. She's like skippy and happy and like jumping around and
Wait, what? Like for why?
because she's excited to see her friend.
Okay.
yep.
He sits slowly in the booth and it creaks and just takes a long pull of his beer before setting it down. There's kind of a little bit of foam mustache that he wipes away. So, My story or yours?
Please tell me yours. I want to know how you've been.
Well, you know, I was discovered to be worshipper of Udant. Much to my chagrin, whatever you say. It is not allowed in ascendancy.
Right, we discussed that many times before, but what happened to you after I brought you home?
Well, your father was suspicious, not trusting. And while my butcher work was fantastic, great cuts of meat, no gristle, no bones, he must have fixated on me. I am different from human. And so had my room searched at one point, finding pendant of Udant.
I'm so sorry.
It's not your fault.
It is my fault. What do you mean? If I hadn't brought you home, that wouldn't have happened to you.
Or it might have. Is it your fault that I bring medallion of Udant with me from Novosislina? Is it your fault I continue to worship her in lands that do not be liking it?
No.
Burden is mine, and burden is your father's.
So then what happened to you? You were imprisoned.
Yes, just the cars came from me.
Were you hurt?
No, I did not resist. Would be easy to crush one skull, maybe two, but numbers.
How did the pendant escape you?
Must have been in the clash. I thought they must have confiscated it, but perhaps it fell.
Yes, I found it just after I discovered you were gone.
Well, I was imprisoned below the city, below Aldair Citadel for months, perhaps 8. Time is hazy.
I should have come for you.
You did not know.
I should have thought or tried to find out. I just ran away. I thought you were gone for good.
So you run. Why?
I couldn't live with my father. I had to get away.
Is natural reaction for what, in your mind, you thought happened.
I suppose.
You leave. You just as I left my homeland.
Yes.
I did not be liking the atrocities they commit,
Right.
or how they treat the Furbolg.
The Furbolg?
Yes.
You've known Furbolg?
On occasion, they live in the forests of Phelan.
Were you friendly with them?
Some, yes. Shepherds, good meat from goats, other livestock they keep.
I met a Furbolg just shortly after I left home, and he was wonderful.
In the ascendancy.
Yes, he was quite upset at the destruction of his home.
I would be too, if it were my home.
Yes, so he was looking for a new place to live with his family.
The diarchy has polluted the river with their building of cities and dreams of conquest.
You were not a part of that.
I do not work for the kings, the chiefs.
I do not know anything about any of that.
They rule from a place called Druzba, to the south.
Okay.
Diarchy, 2 kings, 2 chiefs who made pact. Druzba means friendship in my tongue.
Okay.
But they are brutal.
Yes, I've heard. So how did you get here? How did you escaped
Oh, yes.
prison?
No, I was freed when Nualonko.
Yes, when
Kingdom.
Adrian took over, whatever
Yes,
he
he
did.
freed all peoples imprisoned for wrongful worship.
And then what brought you here? I don't understand. It's so far away.
Yes, well,
And you're not butchering anymore. You're in logging.
correct, yeah. I did not want to return home to the south.
Okay.
The climate in the apostasy is quite warm. I do not like that. I like to wear sheepskin. Cannot wear good sheepskin up north. And ascendancy controls bulk of center of continent. So I decided perhaps more lax across mountains.
They don't bother you here.
No Justicars this way.
Oh, that's good.
But yes, so I travel through
You traveled
passage to
through
the
the
south.
mountains?
No, passage to the south, around, up to the north, and now I'm here, logging for money. No need for many butchers, but yes, I think this could be a good life. I am saving gold, perhaps to open small carpentry shop.
That sounds wonderful.
Yes, I have found soothing peace in woodworking, as I did when I was butcher. Attention to detail, fine cuts of sinew. Same with woodworking. Take a little wood off here to curve, but too much ruins peace.
Do you have creations that you've made here?
Some at my home.
Could I see them?
Absolutely. After beer. You have to tell me your story too. And who are these people staring at us, by the way?
Oh,
He gestures, we all look separate ways.
Ruby's like, she's just like. Those are some friends that I've made on my way. Some of them are newer friends I don't really know. I left home after you had been taken, and then I found some people in a inn, and we gallivanted around and have fought all sorts of dragons and monsters and creatures and different things. And one of my friends was on a trek here, and I've just followed him here.
They are good people then.
I think so.
Better than ones you knew in Oromond.
Yes, definitely.
It's hard to find good friends. Good. Not as in good to you, but good as in good.
Yes. Lauren, I didn't know a good friend until I had you.
And I had not had good friends since passing of my daughter. But now I have both. And reunited as well is good.
Yes. Yes, it's so good to see you. I can't believe it.
Well, I'm glad that you have people to help and to be helped by.
Vorin, would you hear from Melora often when you would pray to her?
Udant, she does not speak often, and when she does not speak with voice, but with cacophony of boulder, quaking of earth, fire, nature.
Yes, I've heard her quite often.
She is strong, terrible, powerful, yet gentle, soft.
I would take out the pendant and hand it to him. This belongs to you. I would like for you to have it if
Closes
you'd
it.
like it.
Closes your hand back around the pendant, pats your hand. I know where Udant is no matter what. Plus, that thing got me in a little bit of trouble a while back.
Would you like to come with us? We would love to have you with us.
I thought you were coming here.
We're off to the mountains to I don't know, there's a fey creature who, I don't know, requires something of my friend, and he got powers from her or something, and there's a husband that's been naughty or something.
We should not go into those mountains right now.
Why not?
Many of my logger friends have been disappearing.
In the mountains? What do you mean disappearing?
Gone. Not to return.
I felt a tugging in my heart. I thought was from Melora toward the mountains. You don't think she's calling me there?
I cannot say what Udant does and does not want. She is not one for human ways. She is old, powerful, slow to change. Perhaps she was tugging you there, perhaps elsewhere. Perhaps here. We have been reunited as part of this.
Well, maybe I should stay here then.
It's not wise to go into the mountains right now, but it seems, he kind of glances at your plate and all your weapons, that you have continued your training since Justicars.
Yes, you would be so proud of me. I've learned so much.
Yes, I am proud. I am knowledgeable about how to take pieces of a body apart, and now you are too, in your own way.
It's true.
Just gives you another big gap-toothed smile. But yes, you can be stink here. I do not venture too far up the slopes nowadays, taking younger trees, but safer work.
I'm not sure I can let my friends go without me, though.
Then be careful.
Is there somewhere here we could equip ourselves?
With
With weapons or gear or clothing?
well, clothing, yes. No weapons or adventuring gear of any sort.
Okay.
It's blacksmith that fixes hammers and saws.
Yes, we don't really acquire that.
No, did not think so.
Are you sure you can't come with us?
My place is here. I found it, finally.
How did you find it? How did you know this was the place for you?
The smell of leaves, of sap, of cold fog on one's face, of beautiful soft rain. It's my place.
And that's it.
Maybe I'm like Melora too. Slow to change.
Where do you think is my place?
Well, I think only you can say that. No god or person can define what you want. But perhaps drawing. I know you like to sketch. Perhaps battle, as you would train for hours. Perhaps you just want to buy some sort of shop in Erringel and grow fat and old. I do not know, I cannot tell you, but I do know two things. Do something that you love, and do it with people who make you happy. Because there are not much things else in life. You can ask Udant, but the only thing that stays is the trees, is the ground, the bones of the earth. And when we die, we stay dead. Make sure you live one life fulfilled. But why are we talking of such gloomy things? Let me meet your friends.
Yes, I would kind of just like, yeah, wave them over.
Sure.
Ruby's gonna like hop up and like come over as fast as she can, like so eager.
He'll like kind of stand to meet them and immediately sit back down. It's very dad thing. But he'll just kind of wave and you guys can all settle in.
Well, these are my friends. This is Ruby and Venuthra and Revington.
Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Nice to meet you. Warren Stone Smasher.
Vorin Stone Smasher.
That is an excellent name, sir.
Isn't it?
Quality name indeed.
His surname. I am not Stone Smasher. That was my father.
Let me guess, you are tree cutter.
Butcher by trade.
Oh, butcher.
But yes.
I saw you making
Logger.
easy work of the logs out there.
Oh, is young sapling.
Yes.
Older trees require assistance.
How do you two know one another?
Oh, we met in Ormond. I was on a sort of leave from the Justicars, and my father would send me into the city often to trade or send letters and that sort of thing. And Voren was often in this sort of area outside the city that people would trade goods, and I would cross his paths often, and we would chat, and sometimes he would hop on the carriage with me as I would go back, and we got to know each other for quite a while, and that's how we met.
Yes, they kept fine herds of cow and sheep, and
Yes, he was an excellent butcher.
but I did not have permission, is word I think, to sell within main city, Old Ormond. So sold in Thurl Circle until
right.
yes, until I became a butcher for house. Yeah.
Well, I too spent a good portion of time in Ormond.
Oh yes.
Some months back, before leaving and eventually running into your friend here.
It is fine enough city.
I quite like. There was a little bit of something for everyone.
Yes, I very fondly remember arrival. Did not have a herd yet, so decided to become bouncer for a time at Broken Tusk.
Oh, you look. I knew you looked a little bit familiar. I would come in and out of Broken Tusk all the time.
Oh yes. Then perhaps
There's a lot of people
I
who
fear
do.
I don't recall. Hopefully I did not bounce you, but maybe if you deserved it, I did.
No, I was well liked.
But yes, doing that and also the fight.
You fought in the tournaments.
Sometimes.
That makes sense. Who was that? Who is it? Oh, who's there now? I don't remember his name. What was his name? Do you remember his name? The guy who bounces at Broken Tusk.
The ogre?
Yeah.
No, I don't remember the name.
I bet I could find his name.
Let me see if I wrote it down.
Yeah. But anyways, do you remember the ogre? Did he take your space?
No, it was another bouncer. Sensitive fellow.
Oh, I guess he didn't last long. Sensitive fellow? I don't know.
No, just like emotional intelligence, empathetic, but good at bouncing still.
Oh, well, you cake and
You can do both, Vinny.
Yes,
Yeah,
masculinity, strength does not mean
well, I didn't know what you
one
meant by
cannot be
sensitive.
vulnerable.
Bells is like beaming. Not in a like doughy-eyed romantic way, but just in a like, yeah.
Right. I think we could all take a lesson from your book on vulnerability.
Is there subtext I'm missing?
Perhaps. It's something.
So you are adventuring group, mercenary group, fighting things.
Right. That's right. We do a little of this, a little of that.
Yes, I wouldn't call us mercenaries, but
All of our work is done by killing things.
Yes.
That is
We
true.
did solve a mystery.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we have solved several mysteries.
Investigate
But
those
usually
as well.
by killing things.
But pretty much only killing bad things.
Aggressive
Right?
investigation.
We work for money.
Most
We've
do.
never killed, like, a good thing or a benevolent creature.
Well, we didn't keep it alive long enough to ask if it was otherwise.
You told me once.
Well, only the
I'm
ones
just
that
joking.
were
I'm just
attacking
joking.
us.
No, I'm just joking. We,
If it was to
told me
save our
you
lives.
rescued a werewolf, and
It's a good
I don't
joke.
know.
Don't
there's
worry.
most
Funny.
things they would
We
get
didn't kill a werewolf. We
monstrosities.
saved that poor
Well, that's
creature.
what I said. I was saying you could, that would have been an instance where it would have been easier to kill something, but it sounded
Yes,
like from
no,
the
we
story
saved,
that you
we saved
it.
her.
We
Yeah,
The
generally
lycanthrope. Come on, Remington.
take
that's what I was saying. That I was agreeing with you.
we take the good path.
Well, it's
We
good.
we're called the Guild of Goodwill.
Oh, you have name.
We do.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. My father was part of some group years ago. Long time ago.
Your father was.
Yes.
What sort of group?
Mercenary groups.
Adventurer.
Yeah.
Less mercenary. As you say.
We like to
But,
see the world.
You know. It's nice, good money, but one day he does not return.
Mm.
It's the way of things.
It is a risk. I have a question for you. Do you see these fellas over here?
Mm.
And I point toward Barnes and his crew.
Mhm.
You said there was a tiefling and an elven
And a dragonborn.
and a dragonborn.
Yes, but as you get a closer look at the Elven, this is more a sub-race of elf called Eladrin that you've heard of, but not ever met one in Alinor. They are more prone to live in Esaloon on the northern continent of Eltexia.
Eladrin, are they sun elves?
No, they are from the Feywild, and they are kind of
Ah.
nature-infused beings that can switch between seasons, and it changes their physicality and properties.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, they're pretty dope.
Can I be that next person?
Campaign too.
Interesting. Well,
Yeah,
I'm just curious. I assume you come here with some frequency. Do you know anything about these folks over here?
Not much. Arrived a week ago. Sit, talk,
They've been here for a week.
give or take.
Has there been anyone else with the group?
Not that I can think of.
No one that's come and left?
No.
That's all right. I'll just go and ask them. And he would just get up and
Sure.
say,
As-
"Pardon me."
Oh, what's it?
I would just say, "Pardon me." I think I'll just go ask them.
Okay. You stand up, start to walk over towards Barnes, who's got his back to you, feet on the table. You hear him make some sort of crass joke, which the others snicker at. And as you kind of come up behind his shoulder to greet, he says, "Well, there you are, you little chicken scuts." Turns around. Do I know you?
I don't think we've. Well, we have met briefly. In the box seats, the play, the Key to Gora, some months ago.
A glorious defense. Is that what it was called? Something like that. It was a play to remember, I tell you.
Yes. It seemed highly steeped in historical and.
Shut up.
Anyway.
Pulls over a stool, sets it down. Sit down.
No, I thought it was interesting to see a familiar face this far out, and I thought I'd come in and reintroduce myself.
Yeah. Yep. Oliver Barnes at your service. Your name is
Vinny.
Vinny. This is Matsuo. He motions at the green dragonborn. He don't talk much. That's Ardgal. He points at the Eladrin.
Irvgal.
Ardgal. Ardghal with some
Okay.
Irish bits in there. The little tildes or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's Avia. He points to the blue tiefling. You can see now this tiefling has scars crisscrossing his face, one like large one across his nose, and what seems to be a glass eye Part of his nose is actually cut off as well. And he's got these pointed blue ears, kind of pale baby blue skin, and kind of a chipped horn that curves around, and then one that's actually just missing the other half. Wearing this bulky gray plate armor. Matsuo is shirtless and very tall for a dragonborn. You see he's got kind of this bronze axe at his belt loop, and is wearing kind of furs and various leggings and leather pieces. And Argal is just dressed in forest green with a kind of a leaf motif, like fall leaf motif across what looks to be leather armor.
Huh. And it's pleased to meet you. Remind me of your name. You said Argal, Matsuo, and I'm sorry, what was your name one more time?
Arvia.
Arvia. It's so good to meet you. We actually, we're headed, my friends and I are headed into the Goldfell Mountains, going to...
Really now?
Yes.
What about?
Well, we heard there was some disturbances. And our plan is to go and see what's going on.
Sounds like a right dandy time.
Was curious, you all look as if you are ready to weather a pretty heavy storm. You hadn't heard about anything going on in that way, have you?
A little bit. We're here on business as well from our employer.
Okay. And I assume you passed through Stohella just as we did.
Oh, yep. Quite some time ago, met these fools at the docks.
You, Oliver, met these fools?
And looks at them all over, and you just hear Matsuo kind of growl in the back of his throat. Yep. Fools, all of them. But they're my co-workers.
Well, and you just met them, so you're a new band. You don't have a name, do you, by chance?
I don't do groups.
I do groups now. I did groups before. I'm still doing groups. I kind of like groups.
Get on with it, Arvir says.
Listen, we're headed over that way. Noticed that you were here. A little bit curious on what your business is. Just, I'll share my story if you'll share yours.
Why don't you ante up some information before I go spouting my loose lips?
Well, I'm not asking for your employer or anything like that. I really just want to know, is there anything that we should be aware of as we prepare for the last leg of our journey?
Probably best not to go up into the mountains, to be honest.
And if one were to go up into these mountains, do you know where we might find the best point of entry?
Up the slopes, through the forest.
And it's just the four of you, is it?
Yeah, why?
The reason we came in just after you had I believe you had been pulled up by
Lou.
Yeah, Lou. One Tooth.
Yeah.
Well,
He tried to eat that jerky.
he did eat that. Well, did he ever get any of it down? I don't know.
I think he swallowed it.
Yeah, he swallowed it.
Gummed it more than chewed it.
Well, he did what he could. But he knew what he was doing. He got us through there pretty...
And I guess he has
swiftly.
looser lips than I thought he did if you,
Well, I have ways. Wasn't of his own volition that he volunteered that information. So... All right. Well, it's good to meet you, to meet all of you. Are you staying here at the inn?
Yeah.
We'll be seeing you around then. We'll probably be taking a night here as well.
Sure. As you get up to leave, he kind of grabs you by the collar, pulls you back.
Misty escape. and then he appears on the other side.
That's an interesting trick. Look. It's clear you're looking for someone. Who? Perhaps I can find them. It's a small town.
Someone by the name of Dolores.
Now, what do you want with Usamo?
Just some rumors. Trying to tie up some loose ends.
I might know something.
Yeah, I would be willing to bargain for some of this information.
Sit back down. Boys, shove off. You see them all kind of wordlessly get up. Go get drinks at the bar.
Listen, I don't want to make a big scene about this.
What are you offering?
I'd cast Detect Thoughts, and I want to get some idea of what he wants to offer, or what he wants me to offer.
You hear in your head, what does he know? Who is this guy, really?
Listen, my friends and I don't know what kind of journey you want, but we have to go into those mountains. But I caught word coming up through Stohella that this Lucimo Dolores had gone missing. And we found most of the other missing people accounted for. And he's the only one left. And so we're looking for him.
You can make a deception check if you're omitting information specifically. He's going to insight you.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, where am I at here? You said persuasion? Or no,
Deception.
sorry, deception. My bad. Is this in order? Okay, it was a 19.
Okay. As you kind of slip your lie of omission of like, he's just a loose end. His eyes just barely catch something in your face or in your delivery, and they narrow a little bit. What's he to you, really? You're here looking for something on the side, away from these mountains, this Lucimo. If I do know him, I need assurances.
Sounds like you're afraid of something. What are you afraid of?
I like to keep malcontents away from my friend.
Well, I'm not at liberty to disclose my relationship with him because I don't have one. Quite frankly. He's just a rumor from my past. Someone my mother knew. A friend. And I thought, this person is a myth, a legend, a story from my childhood. And then I see it up on a missing persons board in Stohella. And I think, yeah,
Where are you from again? Esselin?
Alanar. But
You see his demeanor shift, and he kind of sits up a little bit straighter. Well, barge me. Let's take a walk. He stands up,
here we go.
starts to head towards the door.
All right, let's do this.
You see
I look
the
back and I just, Vinny's like shrugging his shoulders like, I don't know. And then walks out.
Okay.
I want a
guys-
conversation about young bells over here.
We'll get to that. You guys head out the front door, and he walks kind of in an alleyway behind the bar, headed kind of into the misty Severn
Okay,
wood that
did
kind
Vinny
of presses
look
in.
like he wanted or needed help?
He walked, and Vinny,
Yeah, I think you kind
of
of
his own
shrugged,
volition.
right? He
Yeah, I was like,
"Hmm."
Like, yeah.
I looked back, I shrugged at you guys, and I walked after him. So it wasn't. I wasn't asking for help. It was just more like, oh, I don't know. I'm just figuring it out.
Rim is gonna interrupt the other conversation a little bit and just look at the other two. And should I tail him for this? I think I could stay out of the way.
I think so. One of us should at least.
It's got to be me. You two stay here. Oh man, I had so many more questions for you, Voren, but
It's fine. Take your time. Take care of your friend.
Yes.
I will.
I will be here drinking till late night, most likely.
Let us know if you need help.
I will. I can do a message now, if we're close enough.
Go ahead and make a stealth check, Remy.
Where is it?
Did his accent change? Okay.
Hey, 22.
22. You feel like you're pretty well ensconced in the underbrush as they kind of head out into the woods that press in.
I'm in a bush.
Bush to bush.
Okay.
Classic. With nary a rustle nor disturbance, you make your way, following, tailing, within earshot if you'd like to be.
Yeah.
But he kind of just settles in, leans back against one of the trees, and goes, "Here's the thing, Vinny? Is that it? It's Vinny, right? It is.
Listen, I know where this is going.
Look.
And he just punches him in the face.
Okay, make an attack roll.
Oh, good thing I tailed him.
Come on, Jeremy.
I'm trying. What?
You just click unarmed
go.
strike.
A natural 20.
Okay.
Plus 4, 24.
So it
I need to
is
get one of
your
those.
strength modifier times 2. So what's your strength modifier in terms of damage?
Nothing.
What?
I'm not trying to damage him. I mean, I am. I'm trying to wallop him.
Yeah, what's the damage?
It's 0.
Your strength mod is 0?
Where is that?
Yeah, so
Wait, how
my,
do you do
my
time
damage
damage
is
again?
1.
You deal 1 damage on
Yeah.
I deal
unarmed
2
strike if you don't
damage.
have
Okay,
anything
so you
special for
clock
it.
him in the face, and as you do, there's a puff, and all that remains is mist as he appears behind you. That was
Nothing
uncalled for.
personnel, kid.
Oh, come on.
Now look.
No, you look.
No, you look. Here's the thing.
And then he would rush him again. And then he would try and get him in the gut this time.
Okay, we're gonna roll initiative, but that's actually where we're gonna introduce
No!
Are you kidding me right
I
now?
don't even know what we're gonna get to play next.
For real! Let's just keep going. Hayden, you can deal with it.
Well, what are we gonna do? We're gonna go 20 more minutes of initiative and then cut off in the middle of that?
No, we'll just film another episode right now. It's fine.